Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Mokonoman at YouTube with another event video. If anything, during my February 2020 trip to Japan, I've decided to visit the Odaiba Gundam Front. Originally I was not going to go due to the only 6 days of having in Tokyo and wishing to cover many areas that had a hobby presence. It would have been exciting to see the 1:1 scale Unicorn, but being more than half an hour away from central Tokyo, that wasn't enough of a draw card to me. Remembering the last one I went to several years back with the RX-78, inside the shopping complex you would have a display featuring all the past winners of the Gunpla Builders World Cup of that year, as well as a large display of sale kits, a few built the history of the hobby, and a mixture of limited special event models to buy, and out of production and a wider selection of the usual line. And I wanted to see what vintage models were available. Visiting, I was very surprised. The Unicorn itself again was very cool, and you could easily spend about 10-15 minutes around it taking photos and appreciating it. During the night there is a light and sound show, not enough there to sink you in. Near the outdoor Gundam of the Plaza there's a small shipping container size site gift shop with a bunch of insane and weird knick-knack souvenirs, tourist trap bits and pieces, sort of like canned bread, canned tuna, special limited edition models that are recolored but have extra decals or a box art to match the site that it's at, and a cafe a little further up the stairs selling food and more toys. Once you go into the complex and up to level 4, the display has moved from the top of the arcade to the other side of the shopping complex. There's adequate signage and posters pointing you in the right direction. The sheer size of the floor place absolutely surprised me, and you're absolutely assaulted by all sorts of paraphernalia, posters, art, signage, artistry, audio, down to the staff manning the area being dressed in costumes. It was very appealing, and the sheer number of built and finished kits at a high standard is fantastic. Every single model or display case present there I've taken a photo and included in this video somehow. The space is free to enter with a lot of amenities. From the entrance you have a large window showing every major lead Gundam properly, professionally, neatly built, painted, finished, much like a magazine professional spread and displayed. Next to that there are many plinths, about 8 to 10 displays showing every major model release per decade or half decade, the introduction of the first kit, first master grade, first high grade, first real grade, SD, all that sort of thing, neatly built as if someone from that period was finishing it in that style. It's still worthwhile taking a photo of, putting in a magazine, a professional touch. And another big surprise dotted around the complex would be these shelves of celebrity built models. And it's not just something that's snapped and panel lined, but very competently cleaned up, nubs removed, a little modification, and built and painted in a way that describes the personality of the builder. People such as TV, sports, news personalities, singers, idols. I don't recognise any of them at all as they're Japanese. Plus works by hobby professionals and what they call masters from Dengeki Hobby Japan magazine, who do a lot of tutorials and interact with the community. You'd have the model that's very well made and painted. in an excellent pose, and a small sign next to it for a photo of the individual and a whole write-up, again in Japanese. It is a very friendly place to visit for foreigners, and there is quite a bit of English to read. There are some stuff that's just worded for the locals, and that's fair enough. Looking to your right, there's a small corner. It's still sizable, about the whole size of a shop floor, of all your limited kits available for the Gundam Front, other special deals, stuff depicting the actual Unicorn outside, reboxings, gentais, all that sort of stuff. Very expensive, limited to a few per person, much like the gift shop outside, but the entirety of the catalogue that the space offers. And to your left is a massive space, much like the floor of a yodobashi or a larger Japanese hobby shop, with shelves and shelves and shelves depicting the entirety of the Bandai range of Gundam kits, located in genres, subjects, what series they depict. And at the top of the shelf would be a plastic glass cabinet with an example of all the models built out of the box, or snapped together quite competently. The older display did have an old kit display which was poorly built and falling over. This was thoroughly well visited, fixed up, and quite a sight for anyone who enjoys vintage old kits or the history of the hobby to look at. And with the corresponding kit available for sale at the bottom, almost everything available besides one or two rarity, you were able to pick it up at the retail price in front of you, including a massive selection of the older BB and SD kits. If your intent is to fill your collection with a certain kit that's just not currently available on an online website like AmiAmi or Hobby Search, or a larger shop in Tokyo or Osaka, this will probably be your only site in Japan to grab or nab that kit. They have a limit about 3 to 2 models per item sold for anyone who wishes to scalp or resell. A lot of the stuff they also had on display is large kits like your Dendrobium or Neo Zeon, larger ships, that sort of thing, with a corresponding example built above it to have a look at it. The whole ranges of master grades, the real grades, and some of the stranger subjects that I always enjoy looking at, like the spaceships or the HG hard graph items. In between the two major retail areas is a large floor for, I would assume, event space or special guest sightings from anyone from the show or a modeler to do a demonstration. There are large wall scrolls, life-size standees of the characters, posters, all sorts of displays throughout the complex regarding the animation and the media depicting the whole franchise. Also along the columns there would be sculptures or large displays of tons of runners connected or intertwined to give it a bit of an artistic feel and a feeling of amazement of the amount of resources that are scattered around the room. In the far corner near the register of the major retail floor is a large wall of the majority of the paints, tools and gear you do need to build the kits, and at the end of the display space is a podcast recording room with a large window for people to do live webcasts and a studio for them to build, film and stream it online, as well as people to see in the space. Behind that is a corridor which is the factory zone, talking about the manufacturing of the models and the factory in the Shizuoka prefecture. The really cool thing about that display, besides the posters and the writing up from the design section to the finished results, is they have the tooling on display, or a large mold block and the molds open for you to inspect. And it is fairly known, but not widely among the community, that Bandai uses tool steel, but inside it small blocks interchanged, which are parts that are recycled from other kits in a lighter material, bronze, depicting each part of a high grade. And once they mill these parts, they use hand tools to polish, clean them up, and refine the detail even further, which is a very, very old-fashioned approach to molding technology, but with a modern twist with how advanced kits like your high grades and the latest models being released by Bandai. You can even touch the mold, which is in an open case, and handle the raw material, the polystyrene, in small chunks that are fed into the molding machine, heated up, and made a runner. Small models of the molding machines can be seen, information about their recycling program of the EcoPla, the black runners of plastic models, and a massive diorama depicting the floor of the factory, lining up all the molding machines, mills, and the works done by the staff, even design notes in the glass cabinet for that high grade on display. At the end of the corridor of the factory zone is a build workshop. If you build a kit on site, you can actually sit in that little room, have a drink, snap a kit together. They give you very, very basic tools, and the whole room in there, it just has nothing but shelves of lovely built, custom built and painted models. What I would assume is done by the staff and locals in the area. Between the build zone and the factory zone is a large circular plinth glass cabinet with a couple of the Gunpla Builder World Cup champions from the previous year. Again, stunning work, very detailed, very rich. I can see why it is placed so highly. Going outside back near the limited kit area is a small workshop for the professionals and the staff. I asked permission and was granted access to go inside, and saw several booths with airbrushes, tools, spare parts, and one modeler sitting there actively building and finishing a diorama to be put out for people to enjoy, or something to be covered in a magazine article. In that cluster corner near the recording podcast booth were many more glass cabinets all up against that wall, just depicting all different levels of work, built, painted, finished pieces, from very large kits of perfect grade unicorns all the way to very cute bear guys and Haro Plas, heavily customized and scratch built. This covers pretty much everything in that space. You can easily spend many hours, spend quite a bit of money buying things. You're even allowed to stay there and build kits for up to half an hour in the space provided. If you're a Japanese local and buy something very large or multiple kits at a fee, they will post it for you in Japan Post, box it up. Anything you buy is put into a lovely Gundam Front bag with extra posters and all sorts of paraphernalia if you choose not to buy any of the souvenirs. I find the space very worthwhile. There's just so much finished models to look at, everything you're allowed to take photos of with permission of the staff. They're very friendly and easy to work around you. I went when it wasn't too full or busy, just a nice amount of people. We got quite a bit of personal space and would definitely come again. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm very glad I did miss out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got an idea of what's going on there, and I find that there's just a whole lot more to look at than just the one-to-one Gundam at the front. Catch you guys later. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out all the links in the description down below for social media and references, and I'll catch you guys next time. Stay tuned.